welcome back. This is going to be a 2-in-1 video. Sam, lay down. Lay down, baby. So we are doing an update on my dog, Sam, because yesterday he had surgery, he got fixed, and it was torture for me because that meant him being gone, like, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Actually, it was supposed to be 3:30, but then they finished like 30 minutes early because he was cooperating and stuff. So yeah, in a way, and like, he was just being a good boy and cooperating. So therefore, they finished 30 minutes early, and that's awesome. He was asleep, but like as they were putting him to sleep, he was like being a good boy and stuff. So we are doing that. Also, so here's the thing. My dad's birthday is the day after tomorrow. So it's Sunday. But the thing is, I filmed a video earlier, today's video earlier, and I can't use any of the footage for 2 reasons. First up, the camera died. Well, the tablet died on me. Yeah. So it's not a full video. Second off, I realized when I went back I was gonna do a voiceover, and then it hit me that doing a voiceover explaining what I was doing in the video wasn't gonna work because you can still hear what's going on at the time when I was filming. And I don't want to be copyrighted. And the TV was on, and because it was in the kitchen, and basically I just don't want to be copyrighted because there was music playing. But I made a donut cake thing for my dad's birthday. So here's the thing, I was gonna make a cake, but we didn't have any mix, and a few months ago, actually, it might be, I'm pretty sure that it's on this channel and my vlog channel, Lolly Fan Forever Vlogs. So a few months ago, I made a video, I'm making donuts. Ooh. Your classic glazed donuts. Also, I gotta give huge shout out to Jaden Siwa because I actually kind of took his video idea. I saw it on his channel and I copied it because it looked really cool, and my parents like donuts. So basically, I'm gonna tell you the recipe, but I turned it into, this is actually a quick, you can literally complete this in 10 minutes. So it's a quick recipe. And that's involving bake time, unless you add more decorations and things, But usually you can finish it around 10 minutes. So yeah, I took it and did it slightly different today and made it into a little miniature cake. For this recipe, you will need a bowl, a spoon, a small pan, and based off of if you're doing it donut form or cake form, I did cake form. If you are doing it cake form, you need a pan and some cooking spray so it doesn't stick, obviously. But if you're doing it donut form, you don't need the pan and the spray. You need something to cook it in. I use an air fryer and it works perfectly and fabulous. You need confectionery sugar and milk. Now today I added 2 things. I added sprinkle and frosting, chocolate frosting. And the final thing, this is the main thing, you can't do any of this without this thing. You need either the Pillsbury Doughboy biscuit dough, like, you know those cans that you can buy where it's biscuit dough by Pillsbury Doughboy. You need that, or you need the Pillsbury crescent roll dough. Today I used crescent roll dough because that's what we had, and I made a fabulous cake. So what you do is the dough, you take it and like, so if you're doing it donut form, then you take it and like make it into like donuts essentially. So you make it like with the hole, or if you like whatever shape donut you want. And if you are doing it cake form, then you need to like spray your pan, and then just know it's not going to be a very big cake unless you use a lot of dough. I used one little thing of it, and it came out as like the perfect like 1-person, maybe 2-person cake thing. And I also did it layered. So what I did was, for the cake, I sprayed the pan, and I took half of the dough and I put it inside the pan. I flattened it. Now here's the thing. If you are doing a cake form, you gotta flatten it as thin as you can get, to the point where you can almost see the pan like through it, like so thin. And you're probably like, how's that gonna work? Trust me, it works, because it's gonna like rise up a little bit and like become this weird thing. But it's gonna work, trust me on this. I've done this twice and it's fabulous. Then you take, so then I went ahead and threw that in the air fryer, and I put it on the random setting that is like, it's just bake. It's not really like for a specific item. It bakes for like 13 minutes. I don't know, like 14 minutes, but I do it for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, and then my first layer was done, also known as the top layer, because the first one had, well, no, it's actually the bottom layer, but yeah, it was, because it was more flat. If you are doing it donut form, you just like throw it in the air fryer. Or you can use an oven, but if you use anything that cooks it, for like 5 minutes, and then I took it out. Well, as it was baking, I was taking the other half, using my other small pan, and doing the exact same thing for my top layer. The reason you can do it like just one layer and just have it like a little bit thicker, but I chose to make it a 2-layer one because I was using chocolate frosting and like glaze in between, so it's like even sweeter and like interesting. Now, I repeat, do it with an adult unless you are old enough to use an oven. I am old enough. I know the safety I'm cautious is rare oven mitts because I don't want you to get burned. It's all for safety. Because I know what it's like being burned. I did not burn myself with a pan. I burnt myself with wax, which is even worse, I feel like. I feel like that's like worse because it literally was burning for like longer than like a quick little burn. Yeah, basically the story to that was I was making a video, I think it was making a big crayon or something. And I was melting wax in this cup that we didn't realize would make a hole in the bottom. And so when I lifted it out of the microwave, instead I saw the hole and I pulled it back, pulling my foot back, and basically don't ever do that because I got burned, and it actually burned like really bad for like 10 minutes, and then my foot was like completely numb for like 10 minutes. Yeah. And it took like 2 or 3 minutes to get it all off. Yeah. Don't worry, I was fine. I learned my lesson. Basically, so back to the recipe. So then, once I had them both out, and they were kind of cooled down enough, I put the bottom on a paper plate, and well, when the second one was in the air fryer, I made my glaze. For the glaze, you need your bowl. You need a spoon so you can mix it. And then you need 2 items. You can add a third item if you want. You can add food coloring if you want. I don't. Because my parents always food coloring for some reason to them kind of add like a little bit of a taste. I don't really know. So then you're gonna add in a fairly good amount of confectionery sugar. I do not use measurements, by the way. You just add like a good amount of confectionery sugar, or saving a lot actually. Then you add in a little bit of milk, because I always add a little too much milk, and then I have to add in more confectionery sugar. Now here's the thing, I also added 4 scoops of just regular sugar, because my dad likes sweets, and so I want to make it sweeter. Then you mix up your milk and confectionery sugar, and in my case, a little bit of sugar. Or until you want it, the consistency is supposed to be a little bit thick. Not fully thick, but not liquid. Where you can tell it's kind of thick. And then you basically that's your glaze. And then I put the bottom on the paper plate. I put it on a lot of glaze, and then I let that sit for a few minutes so it could cause the glaze kind of dries a little bit, if that makes sense, and it becomes even more sweeter than that. It does a thing and it dries. Then once that's set for a few minutes, I put in some chocolate frosting throughout. Just know this was really hard to frost, partly because I didn't let the glaze fully dry because I didn't want my other glaze to dry. And then I put the top layer on, which was not as flat and perfectly smooth. Then I coated it in glaze. Then I put the rest of the glaze in the refrigerator so we can save it, because we are not wasteful in our house. Also, my parents can use it for things. Then I let that completely dry. Then I dumped out some of the excess glaze, because a lot of the glaze would drip off because I was putting a lot of it on, and I was coating a lot of it. So I dumped some into the sink. Don't worry, it's safe. I rinsed it out. We're good. Then I kind of repeated that a few times until there wasn't barely any left on the plate. I frosted it, and I added sprinkles to it, and that's going to be my dad's birthday cake. I also did add a little bit of cinnamon, because it's fall, and where we live, it feels fall almost. It's a little bit warm for fall, but it's still we live in an area that doesn't get freezing cold, but it gets kind of cold, you know? You basically have like the perfect in between. Then, yeah, and it turned out really cool. My parents haven't eaten it yet, but that's because I made it like at a timing where they were like, they had just finished eating like a little bit of this store-bought cake because we have a lot of treats. But yeah, that's gonna be my dad's birthday cake thing also. We're gonna put candles in it, you know, because his birthday is Sunday. So I want to talk about an update on my dog Sam. So yesterday was really hard for me because I miss my dog Sam. You know, like me and my dog Sam do so much. We do like everything together, like or a lot of things together. If I get up to go to the bathroom, he's following me, coming with me, you know. Oh, if I'm taking a bath, he wants to sit outside the tub. If I'm just getting up to grab a soda, he follow me. Like my dog, Sam loves to follow me everywhere. And he doesn't like it when I leave, you know? Yeah, like it was a thing. And so, yeah. Like, so it was really hard not to let him, like, to just be away from him for so long. Like, literally, one of the last, I have only been away from him for that long. Well, no, I've been away from him twice, like, overnight. Technically, it counts as 5 because the first time was last year. Me, my sister, and Bella's sister met up with Bella's mom halfway to where Bella lives to take her back home. You know, we met halfway and we spent the night in a hotel. Although Bella went home directly that day, and me, my sister, and her spent the night in a hotel. And like that was like my first time actually leaving Sam and it was really hard for like more than a day, you know? Because like, yes, since we got my dog Sam, like, yeah, as we've been to hotels, but he's always been with us to like, pet friendly hotels and stuff. So like, it was very hard and it was fun, but also like not fun because I missed my dogs. That was the first time. And then the second time I was gone for 4 days. And it was so annoying. It honestly felt like more than 4 days. Partly, I'll explain why, which was when I had surgery. Because it felt like more than 4 days. Because in reality, I left him at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not joking. I actually left him at 3 o'clock in the morning because they needed us at the hospital at 6 and it's 3 hours away. And we didn't want to like spend the night in a hotel because like no one was going to be able to make it there with my mom, you know, and we don't, like my mom had a stroke a few years ago. That kind of played into it, and also just so I could have a little bit more time with Sam. So yeah, and then I came back at 6 o'clock 4 days later, and it honestly that day kind of made me mad because because I was determined to go home to see Sam, obviously, but what made me mad was that literally, so the like nurse was, because it was up to the therapist to decide if I could go home, basically the nurse went in after at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't get a response until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So yeah, like, no, and a couple of times the nurse actually went in after again, and like, so yeah, and it was really annoying, and then we couldn't pick up my pain medicine until the next day, because our pharmacy closed, and like, it was a hot mess. But it felt longer because I was literally up all night, every night, and it wasn't because of pain or anything like that, it was just me being awake, like normal. Literally, I remember asking my dad like what time it was one time, and he was like 1 o'clock, and I'm like, oh, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and he was like, no, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, oh. Yeah, my dad at least got a little bit of sleep. So yeah, like that day was really hard. So basically, my dog, when, I missed him, he comes back here to film, and he's on the bed currently sleeping, and I'm not going to bother him. Yeah, he's kind of mad at us because he had to take medicine this morning, like, he had to take a pill and this liquid stuff. The pill with pain medicine, the other thing, I don't know what it's for. Yeah. So then at 3 o'clock, oh no, at like 2:15, my dad comes home because he was at the grocery store, and he's like, once we bring in all the groceries and like put it away, and I use the bathroom, then and we can go pick him up. And I was like, wait, it's not 3:30 yet, and he was like, oh yeah, they finished early. And at that point, so we quickly did it as fast as we can. I'm outside, like, time to go see Sam, like, and then, yeah, like, it was then, and by the time my dad had his shoes on, I was in the car with my shoes on, ready to go, seatbelt on. Like, yeah, it was really fun. It was a funny thing. And then we got to see my dog Sam, and it was so exciting. Then we came home, and like, it was just like an exciting time to see Sam and be with Sam. He was tired, but he was fine. And that's kind of like the main part of the update. And like, basically then like, he did have issues walking at first. Like, he almost would like almost trip over himself, like, if that makes, he was kind of stumbling, but then that got away, and now he's just back to the happy normal Sam that we love. Yeah. You're all gonna come for me for this. Please don't. Just know that this sounds bad, but it's what we're doing, and it's fine. And so, we're not supposed to feed him human food, and that's for a week. That's the interesting part about this. We are, because we're being careful with what we give him, barely anything, like, because my dog Sam will not eat dog food. Okay, here's the thing. If he will not eat the wet food at all. But if you give him a piece of like dry dog food and you're like, oh, it's a treat, he'll eat it. Like if If you tell him it's a treat, he'll eat it. But we don't have the time to just sit on the floor and like pick it out of his bowl and like hand give it to him. Because if you put it in his bowl, he doesn't think he won't eat it because it's always in his bowl. So he had the system of putting 2 cups in there, and then he can go at it whenever, because that 2 cups is going to last him a while, a very long time. We're being careful with the human food thing. Yeah. Yesterday he wasn't supposed to eat at all, but we did give him a little tiny bite of chicken. It was very little, only because we don't want to starve him, and he was hungry. Like, he was really hungry. Because my dad gave it to him, and he ate it up like no problem, and he is fine. So I don't want anyone coming for me, DMing me on Instagram, saying you're not supposed to give him human food at all. They said not to feed him human food. What else is he gonna eat? He doesn't really eat dog food. And so many people are like, well, you trained him not to like dog food and all of it. No, we didn't, okay? We have always given him human food. At the beginning, we barely gave him any. We gave him wet dog food at the beginning. We have tried so many flavors, like, maybe he doesn't like certain flavors, We have tried so many different kinds of wet dog food, different brands, different flavors. He will not eat the wet dog food one bit. He'll go up to it and he'll sniff it. He'll sniff it and then he'll walk away. And then you're probably like, well, there's still dry dog food. He only eats dry dog food if you tell him it's a treat. And if there's a lot of it in his bowl, he will not eat it. So, yeah. We did give him water in a cup. We found that, we gave it to him in a nice cup because of the fact that he likes drinking out of a cup. For some reason, we never trained him that way. That is something that we have never trained him to drink out of a cup. He just naturally likes the idea of drinking out of a cup. He thinks he is a human, and that is fine. If he sees you drinking out of a cup, he wants his own cup of water. So we gave him a cup of water yesterday because he is allowed to have water. Don't worry. Hydration. And at least that's something because I found that when I'm not allowed to eat, which the only time that ever was that I personally know of was when I had surgery, and it was for the first 24 hours. Well, no, it was technically, I couldn't eat after 12 o'clock midnight, and then I couldn't eat the day of surgery, which kind of worked out because I didn't want to eat, if that makes sense. I just didn't feel hungry, I kind of went through that phase for a couple of days, for the first entire time of being in the hospital. I drank a lot of soda and water and milk, but I did not eat, and I didn't want to eat. But drinking water actually is good, and it hydrates you. I was allowed to do that until 4 o'clock that morning, and then I couldn't drink any more water until after surgery. Then I could drink things. So yeah, that's your update. My dog is doing really great. He's doing good. He's happy. at this point, yeah. At this point, we've been teaching him not to lick. But here's the thing, the licking thing. So they said that if he's licking excessively, then we would bring him back and they would put either a cone or this collar thing on him. The collar thing is what they prefer because what it does, like with the cone, it blocks your side vision. And like it's not always the best option. Versus the collar thing, it kind of puffs up like out a little bit. That way he still can see out of like everywhere. He still have perfect like vision, but he can't like fully turn to like lick himself. Now the thing with that is my dog has always licked himself in that area. So, and he hasn't really been licking excessively after surgery. He's been trying to lick it about the normal amount that he usually does before he even had surgery. And we're just like, when we see it, we're like, don't lick, lick me instead, like. So I'm not sure on that one because it's not licking excessively. We're just leaving it at this point because he did that way before surgery. Like, he did that, like, when we first got him, like, that sort of thing. Interesting fact. When we first got him, he would not bark. He would whine. He would growl occasionally, like, if you were, like, messing with him and he was trying to sleep or something. Then he would, like, growl at you and be like, hey, I'm trying to sleep. But he wouldn't bark at first. And then finally, after like the first like week, he actually started barking and stuff occasionally. He rarely barks though. Like he doesn't like to bark. He likes to like whine. Like when you don't give him like food and he wants food or something. Like he'll kind of whine at you like, hey, give me some food. I'm hungry. He's very happy because this morning he had meat. He had some, don't worry, it's salami, I'm pretty sure. No, it's turkey. I don't know what type of meat it was. I'm pretty sure it's like turkey or like ham, like flat. Sandwich. It's some sort of sandwich meat. And we cut it up real small, and he was allowed to start eating today. And we cut it up really small. We microwaved it, because let's face it, he gets spoiled and his food gets microwaved. So, and he was so excited over the fact that he could eat. And we given him the meat like a majority of his life, and he loves it. And like sometimes he'll be picky sometimes. Like sometimes he'll be picky and be like, nah, I don't want that, like, and just ignore it like, oh, it's dog food or something. But then sometimes like he'll be like, oh wait, that's good, and that's some good meat. And don't worry, we searched it. It is safe for dogs. If you are giving your dog human food, this like sandwich meat stuff, if you are giving them human food, this is safer than a lot of human food. It's safe for dogs, and he likes it sometimes. The times when he doesn't want to ignore it, and wait and see if he gets something better. Because that's his strategy. You can give him human food, but he's gonna wait until everyone's done eating before he'll eat that because he wants to make sure that he's not gonna get something better. Yeah. And we did not train him that way. I'm sorry. Because I wanted to bring that up real quick because of the fact that I know it's like, I feel like a lot of people, like on YouTube or like on the internet, say like, oh yeah, I like give my dog human food, and then like say every time we give him human food, it's either something that we know, like we given him a million times, and it's safe for dogs, except for milk. Milk, we do give him a tiny bit, and it's because he licks my mom's cereal bowl in the morning. And some dogs like throw up from milk. Some dogs throw up from milk. Some dogs get sick from it. He does not. We did it a long time ago, not knowing that when we first got him, because the reasoning was because as when my mom owned she owned like 2 or 3 other dogs before I was even born, it was different. Where it was allowed, dogs were allowed to have milk or something. And then, so we didn't know, and we're trying to get to be as safe as possible with him. He's taking a nap. He's also not allowed to run around a lot. If he does run around a lot, then we have to put him in timeout, And for us, that basically just means putting him in the back bathroom, because then it's small and it's somewhere where it kind of is hey, you shouldn't. Also, because he used to have a cage, but we kind of quit with the cage because of the fact that we only had the cage because when we first got him, I was scared of him. Yeah, I have a big fear of pets. I don't like pets. I get very freaked out by them, dogs, snakes. But with dogs, I can kind of get used to them, sometimes. I'm saying that properly because in the past, there was one dog, there's actually 2 that I never, 4, that I never learned to get used to. I just never got used to. I am scared of to this day. One of them is a small dog, about his size, and not that, then smaller. And I still, get kind of terrified. No, I try to not, be scared, but sometimes that just takes over. So yeah, but then I feel but he has always handled milk very good, Then I see some people on YouTube that, it's a very controversial thing. I feel either people are oh yeah, it's fine if you give them, a little human food, And then there's some people on YouTube that, I'm not talking about, the YouTubers. I'm talking about, people, commenting and stuff. They're no, you can't give them human food. It's bad for them. They won't live as long and all of that. And I'm human food does, in our case, I could be wrong on this. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Human food really doesn't change him. Some people say, oh, human food, if you give it to them, your dog's not going to live as long. I don't really think that's true. I'm not trying to offend anyone. Please do not unsubscribe. Please subscribe, okay? What I mean is that I don't really understand that, because I think if your dog has a healthy lifestyle, giving them human food isn't gonna change that, or change the fact that when he's gonna die. If he dies, it's for a different reason. So yeah. And Sam has a very happy lifestyle. He has a nice big backyard that he gets to run around in, although he usually doesn't like to because of the fact he doesn't like being outside by himself. Which honestly, I can kind of agree with that. I don't go outside because I am scared of lizard frogs. Speaking of which, a frog got into our bathroom yesterday. Don't know how, and it terrified me. Basically, well, we don't know how because our back bathroom has a window, and basically it was closed, everything was good, and somehow I went to use the bathroom, and I turned on the light, looked in the shower, and I saw a frog in there, and I ran. I closed the bathroom door, and my dad went in. He sprayed him with this stuff it killed bugs, basically. And people are like, oh, you never want to kill bugs. Oh, that's like a controversial thing. We are fine with bugs if they are outside of our house. If they come inside, I'm sorry, I am scared of bugs. We are going to spray them. Instantly kill them. We weren't sure it was going to work on frogs or not. So he sprayed him with that, and then it kind of killed him, but not 100%. It slowed him down a lot, and then killed him. And then he got flushed down the toilet, to go to a happy frog land. I'm trying to make this super kid friendly because I know that my channel is family friendly, so for all ages, into a happy frog land where he gets treated well. And he can be happier there than he does. So yeah. So that was scary, but yeah. Then, so yeah, my dog has a very happy lifestyle. Well, I don't like being alone, and so that makes sense to me. I mean, I literally never go outside. Literally the only time that I'm outside is when I'm walking to the car to go somewhere, or occasionally only if my dad's not around, then I'll check the mail, which I don't even like doing that. So that could be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this update on my dog Sam. He is doing good. We talked to Bella yesterday. That made him happy. He likes Bella. Bella is one of his best friends and one of his favorite people on earth. And it's actually been 2 weeks since he talked to her. Basically since she started school. Because at first I thought she was doing over Zoom. I don't know the situation, but at least now I know her school schedule, which is, I know what time she gets out of school, which is good, because last year she got out at 2:15, and then she never, usually, right before school starts, she knows, she knows what time she gets out of school, she finds out, and she usually tells me that way I can FaceTime her and stuff. This year she didn't tell me. until yesterday. So yesterday she said that she gets out at 2:30, which is good. And yeah. Yeah. So that's good. And tomorrow we're gonna FaceTime, we're gonna work on this music video. So yeah. Peace out.